Good morning to everyone this wonderful Friday. I wanted to share something that came out of our coaching session from Practice by Design yesterday, and I thought it'd be really useful to share in the group this idea of goodness of fit when we are either in a consultation with a client or we have a current client, maybe that we're new working with. And, what does it mean to be a good fit? And what do you do? How do you know if it's not a good fit and you need to refer? And the thing we talked about in our coaching session was this idea that having a goodness of fit is a spectrum. And I think for a lot of us that work in community mental health, fit is not a consideration. Like, you're given clients and you have to deal with them, and you're basically told, like, if you're having a reaction, then there's something wrong with you that you need to fix in order to work with this client and to serve this client, because that's what we're supposed to do, is we're supposed to meet the client. And at some level I agree with pieces of that, but I fundamentally also disagree with the idea that there's something wrong in us that we need to address in every case, right? That goodness of fit can exist on a spectrum. It's not like a yes or a no question. That on one end you have the perfect ideal fit, the person that gets the most out of your work together, and you are in total flow with them. And then sort of in the middle, you've got this, or on the other side of that, you have the clients who trigger some deep wound or activate your nervous system in a way that leaves you feeling raw and activated, and it takes a long time to recover, and it kind of takes up a lot of space and energy in you, and it's potentially harmful to you, and as such potentially even harmful for the client for you to continue working with them because it's so activating for you. And then in the middle is the spectrum of pretty good fit to something feels off, right? There is from good fit to something doesn't feel quite right. There is a place for us to stretch ourselves and to lean into discomfort and to explore why that is. And then on the other end of that, somewhere on the other end of that spectrum is where we start to consider referring someone out. It could be because they're not in our specialty. It could be because there's something about their personality that's too activating for us. It could be about something about the level of need that they have that's not congruent with how our boundaries and our practice work. It could be a lot of things, right? There are a lot of reasons outside of the presenting problem why someone would not be a good fit for us, where we know deep down that someone else will serve them better. And especially as your practice fills up, being able to recognize the difference between I can do good work with this client and it will feel good, and it might stretch me, but it will feel good, to somebody else would serve this client better, and so I'm going to give them to somebody else, and I'm going to hold firm on that boundary, and I'm going to communicate that with the client with respect, that look, I am not the right person for you. The fit between therapist and client is one of the number one predictors of success, and I can tell you that I don't feel we're a good fit. And it's my priority to make sure that you find the best fit therapist that you can. So I'm going to curate some referrals for you. I'm going to help connect you with somebody. I'm going to, do that. And so I think it's really important as a private practitioner, as a solo practitioner, to get in touch with that feeling, that point of decision of where it's a good enough fit and you're going to do good work and it feels good, to where, and then that tipping point where it's no, actually, I need to move you on to someone else. And that line can move. When you're early in practice, I think we tend to take on a little bit more stretch, right? We tend to take on more clients. We tend to be willing to try more because part of it is we need to fill our schedule, and I get that. But as our schedule fills up, that can shrink, and you can focus more and more on the clients that you do your best work with, who you serve the best, and who are going to get the most out of you, and you are going to get the most out of the work. And so that line can change over time, and that's also okay. So that's my Friday morning thoughts. I hope you all have a wonderful weekend. Have a Merry Christmas, and I will see you next week. Bye.